All righty. Let me shut this door. And I want this to be kind of an interactive session. I want to feel free to ask any questions you may have. Stop me so I can help. This is supposed to be informative. I'm showing you how we use AI in our real estate business and how you can implement that in yours. But I don't know everything about AI. So if you know something that, in addition to what I'm sharing, that you'd like to share with the group, I'd love for you to stop me and put your hand up or let you know or let us know what you know about it as well because it's ever changing, right? So yeah, just start by saying who I am. My name is Will Holder. I run the William Holder Realty team. We also run the this for real of Pennsylvania. If you ever have any questions or ever want to reach out to me, my name and number are listed on the presentation right here. I'll minimize this. All right, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Always feel free to reach out. So with that all being said, for the people on the Zoom and the people on Instagram, quick show of hands, who here has used AI before in um uh who here used AI before in their business? Anyone want to share how they're currently using?
Oh, on mute. It's Jared Blackwell here. Sorry, I'm off camera. Um, I use it in my business to actually like build client profiles. So when I talk to, individuals, um, I use Calendly AI to transcript, and then I ultimately bring that transcript into to bring out their pain points and anything they mentioned, so that way I can copy those notes and put it in my CRM.
Awesome, awesome. That's really good. What CRM are you currently using, if you don't mind me asking?
Sorry, say it again.
What CRM are you currently using,
I
if you
use
don't mind?
HubSpot.
What was it?
I use HubSpot,
HubSpot. Okay. All right. Cool. Good.
but I've used them all.
Yeah. No. Awesome. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Listen. This is judgment free. Feel free to share anything. Um, unless you're still writing your listing descriptions from scratch. Let's be real here. We're all doing it, right? So no one can say they're coming up with original copy here. All right. So I see Malachi on. I'm going to pick on you a little bit. Malachi, how are you using this in your business today? Any version of AI?
AI with ChatGPT and a few other video scenarios with helping me make clips and content.
Awesome. Awesome. So with that all being said, I want to welcome you all to the future of real estate. Let's not pretend like this isn't happening. Okay. Don't be one of those people that didn't get a computer and then didn't get a smartphone. And we're all way, way, way too late. All right. Especially in business. We know we have to constantly be evolving to stay ahead of the curve. And I don't want to um, ever take away from the fact that real estate, successful real estate agents, the most successful real estate agents generally are the most successful because they pick up the phone, not because they're using some fancy AI to post on social media for them or to reach back out to their clients or to organize their notes. Those things are here to make you operate more efficiently. They're not here to take away what the base of real estate is, which is just staying in contact with your clients, right? Contacts equals contracts. So there are some ways we're going to get into how you can use AI to speed up your contacts, how you can use it to speed yourself up in general. But when you're a realtor, your number one job is to talk to your clients. Use AI to enhance the experience, right? And that's some of the things Real Broker's doing as well. So we'll get into some of those things as well. All right. So an AI powered realtor works smarter, wins bigger, right? You're harnessing AI to grow your business, save time, and whoa clients. And I'll give you a quick example of that. Real has a system called Hey Leo. It's their AI. They own it. They built it themselves. And essentially, it's tied into all of the MLSs. So it's launching very shortly. We're now able to text our clients from a number that we choose. And that client is interacting with our AI. It's interacting with Leo. The client can ask questions like, hey, name name all the homes in Springfield listed between $300,000 and $500,000, or that have a backyard, or that are fenced in, or that are on at least a third of an acre. And Leo is going to go into the AI, into the MLS, scrub that data, and text it to your clients. Give me a list of the school districts and their rankings. Like, this isn't opinionated information; it's factual information, right? Your Leo is able to communicate with that client at all times. At night, when you're asleep, when you're on the road, your client's questions are being answered. Even a lot of Leo is tied into the broker relations as well. So it knows a lot of the back end questions and the proper ways to respond to those questions. Also, if your client's like, hey, I want to see these 3 homes on Saturday at 6, it'll then cross-reference your Google Calendar and go into showing time and book those showings for you. Right? Companies like Zillow is currently using this information or this system now, but brokerages, advanced brokerages, smart teams, smart agents are building and using these systems to enhance their business. Because again, it's not going to take over or replace you, it's going to enhance you. And the reality is 71% of realtors didn't sell a home last year. And 86% of realtors sold less than 4 homes last year, right? So there's not a lot of people actually doing business. And systems like this should help you. And if they don't, you're going to be one in the 80% of people that don't sell a home this year, right? So understand what's happening, and use this to your advantage, not your disadvantage. Okay? So I have a question. I mean, I always ask agents this because as agents, we don't necessarily always think of our business like businesses, but if AI could save you 5 hours a week, right? What can you do with that 5 hours? Or can you call more people? Sure. Can you door knock a neighborhood? Sure. Can you spend that time with your family? Sure. Right? So if you're not taking advantage of these systems we're going to go over, those are all things you're choosing not to do because you'd rather be busy. All right. So why AI in real estate? All right. We're automating repetitive tasks. We're boosting engagement. We're creating personalized marketing, and we're freeing up time. Okay. This isn't the future. This is already happening. We're not waiting for this. This is already happening. Some agents are just getting paid. Some agents are getting paid like it's 2030 already because they're using this stuff already. Right. So I want you to start using these things. Don't wait, because there are people taking advantage of it and they're ahead of the curve. Right. AI is basically the assistant we all needed but never hired because we don't want to spend the money. Like, this is that. So take advantage of it. All right. So let me click on, who am I going to click on? Charlene. Charlene, if you had an assistant and you have all this stuff, because obviously you're on a team, but if you're an individual agent and you had an assistant that gave you like all free time in terms of doing paperwork off your plate, like, wouldn't that be a huge benefit to you?
Yes, it would.
Right. So don't let what AI is scare you. We're going to go over that today. It's not that complicated. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Okay. All right. So let's start with the one everyone's the most familiar with, and that's ChatGPT. All right. This is your unpaid intern. All right. Yes, you're not supposed to use ChatGPT like a like a search engine. Google has Gemini, Twitter has Grok. There are different versions of this, But at the end of the day, without overcomplicating it, ChatGPT is supposed to just find you the information quicker in a better format, right? Rather than use a Google search that just searches for websites related or stories related, Chat is actually doing the research, and it does way more than that. And I'm going to share for anyone that's on the Zoom, I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see everyone that's on the Zoom? Can you see? No. Okay, so you can all see my chat, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So a few things. Number one, in a simple fashion, we're using chat to do our write-ups for our listings, right? We go in, we give chat the information we want it to use. So we're not just saying, hey, give me a write-up for 123 Main Street. No, we're actually saying this seller has a beautiful 4-bed, 3.5 bath. Here are some things that stand out about it. Here are some things I'd like to highlight about the neighborhood. Give me some data to put in the write-up. Make this write-up as search friendly as possible for people searching on ChatGPT, people just doing a Gemini search. Put in the right words that would create the highest return or the highest search results for this listing. Okay, people are using chat to search. So why wouldn't we use chat to come up with the write-up and to help us word it in a way that gets our listing searched? Right? The other thing is systems like chat, and I know the industry is fragmenting, but at least for now, ChatGPT is partnered with Zillow, which is the #1 travel real estate page in the world. If ChatGPT knows what Zillow looks for in their algorithm, why not ask it that? Chat, how do I make my listing the #1 listing that comes up on everyone's searches for someone searching for a home in Wayne, Pennsylvania? Right? These are little things you should be asking chat. Now, before I get further into what systems like chat can be used for, does anyone have any questions, or are you seeing positive results from using these systems? And I'll say this. Systems like ChatGPT need to be trained or else they are too robotic. What I mean by that is when you go into your workspace or your settings, you can give the system information about yourself. So it speaks like you. So it responds like you, right? You don't want to just go in, get a canned answer, copy and paste, and then forget to delete the extra part that says that we, the extra, forget to delete the extra part that says, would you like me to make this more professional, right? No, you need to be training your chat to understand who you are, how you respond, so that their chat's responses come off less robotic. Okay, that's super important here. And this is where a lot of people are falling behind on ChatGPT, as we're going to get into it. But a lot of people are using this for, their posts on social media and to come up with content, and it's coming off really robotic. It's not coming off personalized because they're not personalizing these systems. They're not feeding the systems enough information so the system knows how they respond to things, right? Remember, it's learning how you operate, okay? And you have to teach it that. So if you're using it that way, you're using it completely wrong, right? Copy and pasting AI scripts from chat to your captions on social media, or just copy and pasting it into your listing is incorrect. Train your chat and then go through and make necessary adjustments to make it sound more like you, right? If you don't do that, your content's going to sound like everyone else. And we all know what gets the most views, original content or prevalent content. If you're not understanding that and inputting that into your system, you're not getting the full use out of that system. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. Anyone have any questions about that so far? No? Okay, great. So additionally, some things chat can be used for is you can actually connect chat to your if you store all of the data for your company in Google Drive, you can connect chat to your Google Drive so it's referencing that information, right? And then you can create a company chat account that you can send out to all of your agents or your assistants, and they can go in there and search first for the information before reaching out to you as the broker, the team leader, the office manager. If you put, the more information you put in your Google Drive, the more chat learns the way your business operates, and the more correct the answers will be for the people that are searching. So that's one way you can use chat. The other way is obviously you can do photos and videos or photos and chat. We're going to get into some other systems that I think are better for photos and videos than chat, but we'll get into that. You could do deep research. You can create an agent. I'm not sure if anyone saw the video of when they rolled out agent mode for ChatGPT. One of the people that came up with the coding for this was sitting there, and he's like, "I'd like to go to Wimbledon match next summer. Please reference my calendar. Find me the best route. Find me the hotel closest that has like a gluten-free menu, and see what days work for me that I can book that appointment." And then he closed his computer, and the computer went to work. And 10 minutes later, it plotted out the right path for him. It told him what hotel he should book. It told him where he can eat, and it told him what time the matches are, when he needs to be there and leave work by based on his calendar. This stuff is already happening, and it's not overcomplicated. And I want to now kind of break that down. I found a ton of success with using voice mode or dictating to chat, right? It's called prompting. I don't want you guys to overcomplicate this. Prompting is how you would talk to, and let's say you have someone building a website for you, and you're like, "Yeah, I really want a house in the middle that's a big red brick house, and I want 5 tabs on the top, and I want those tabs to say this, this, and this." You're speaking to it like you would speak to a person, but giving it as much detail as possible. All right. When you hear prompting, don't clam up and think this is something really, really difficult. It's just giving it all the information it needs. And I found the best way to do that is to dictate it or use voice, because then you can just kind of ramble on. The system will make sense of that, especially if it knows you best, right? So, I can give an example. Not sure if this will hear me. Yeah, looks like it's hearing me. All right, so chat, I'd like to find the best restaurant in a 10-mile radius from me. I'm currently located in Wayne, Pennsylvania, and I'd like this restaurant to have at least 4.5 to 5-star reviews. I'd also like this restaurant to have a gluten-free menu. I'd like it to serve alcoholic drinks, and I'd like to know that it's open between the hours of 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. I also want to make sure there aren't too many negative reviews on this property, on this restaurant. Right. So when I end that chat, if it was working correctly, I don't know how it would work with this setup here, but would translate that, and then it would go to work for me. Right. It would find me something that works. That is an example of prompting, right? So we use chat in a ton of different ways. We use it for property write-ups. We use it for pricing strategies, okay? If we have a listing that's not performing particularly well, why wouldn't you go into Bright? And I have to give it the information. So go into Bright, pull the recent data on that listing, pull the comps on that listing, pull how it's performing on Zillow and all these different websites, throw it into chat and say, "Hey chat, based on this data, what is something I can do to make this listing perform better? How can I provide my seller with with useful information so that they know exactly what's going to happen with this listing?" These are super powerful tools, and it's not opinion-based, it's fact-based, right? Now, don't blindly copy and paste that and send it to your seller. No, you need to make sure that you're reviewing this data before you send it over to your seller. Okay, so if you go down the list, I mean, we use chat like 20 times a day for different things we're working on. All right, so while I'm pulling this back up, any questions so far?
Wanted to know, is it too much information or no?
Say that again?
Can you give it too much information? Like,
No, the
oh,
more the
okay.
better. And honestly, I feel like, I don't know if this is factual, but I feel like speaking into it, it kind of learns your cadence and the way you talk, and it starts to respond. In my opinion, I see the way it responds to me, and and the information I feed it, and I don't think it would normally say that's cool, or like, come on, man, like stuff that I would normally say. So I think it is using that data to learn you better. So I actually like if you give it more information. Okay, good question. All right, so let's talk about some actual systems you can use in your real estate business. And this is one we use. I think it's really, really helpful. I'm going to go in and show you guys how it works for a couple of minutes, but there's other systems like this. One of the key features of this is that it's AI sales coaching, right? So systems like Maverick and Shiloh have listened to millions of sales calls, and they've come up with the metrics or the key points that lead to the most success in sales calls. And by doing that, they can now plug into your CRM, most CRMs, and they can listen to your call and they can grade your call, some of them from 1 to 5, 1 to 10. And it can tell you what word it's listening, and it's doing this, like it's right after the call, it's doing this for you. And I'll tell you, hey, on this call, maybe you spoke too much and listened too little. On this call, you didn't ask for the appointment. On this call, you didn't respond to the person's questions. You were just kind of skipping over it. And it's coaching you on how to do that call. And then you can live play it back, right? So a lot of these systems, you could jump in and say, I'd like to script with a difficult portal buyer or an expired seller, a difficult one. You call, and it's like you're talking to a person that's actually AI, and it's grading you on how you're doing on that call. There's systems like this out here. When I first started in real estate in 2015, I was scripting with my mirror like a crazy person. Now you can do it with AI, right? And that to me is so powerful. We ask our agents on our team to use it, especially if they're having a hard time or they're not able to make our live scripting calls. This is super important. The other thing systems like Maverick does is it actually looks at your leads and tells you which ones need to be called. And you can actually set up automatic nudging for yourself or for your teams, right? So it's a super powerful system that then there are systems like this out here that I don't get paid by Maverick. I just think it's a great system, and it's something that agents, teams, team leaders, brokerage should be using to enhance. The more we can use AI to learn the industry, the better, right? And I want everyone to be great realtors, because if we're all great, it lifts up the entire industry, right? So anyone have any questions about a system like Maverick? Um, you know, and listen, it's also like a coach that knows when you didn't make your call. So it's a great system. It'll hold you accountable. But any questions about that? No. Okay. I look at it this way. If I had something that can tell me what I'm missing or what I'm doing wrong, I would take advantage of it, because I know how important our businesses are to us, and I want to make sure that we're taking advantage of these systems. Okay. Now let's get into some fun stuff. And there are AI websites or dialers. I've used different versions of it. The current version we use is a company called Ylopo, which is the embarrassing thing is it's going to get to your leads faster than you do, right? And that's either a good or a bad thing. It's a good thing in the sense that you're so busy you can't get to your leads right away, or it's a bad thing in a sense that you're hiding from your leads. Either way, when you're running ads through systems like Ylopo on Google or or Meta, the system, when that lead comes in, AI is going to call and text that person. And when the person responds with something positive whilst having a conversation with the AI, it's then going to try to transfer the call to you or your entire team or your entire brokerage to see who picks up first, right? When we're having conversations with our sellers and I'm sitting there in a listing appointment, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, just so you know, even though I'm sitting here with you or I'm working with clients all day, no stone gets left unturned because our AI dialers are hanging out in the background. If for some reason, one of the 27 agents on our team didn't answer the phone, our AI dialer will call and text for us, and they'll schedule that appointment for us. These can be really powerful, but I don't want you to solely rely on that. If you're working at scale with pay-per-click leads, which if you do the math can be very expensive, it makes sense. If you're getting a lead a day or every other day from a system you pay for or from your open houses, you probably don't need something like this. Don't rely on something like this unless you have the bandwidth for it, right? But it's super powerful. We can actually jump in if the AI is having a text conversation with one of our clients and take over the conversation, right? Jump in and say, hey, great, I'd love to see you Friday at 6. I've had people say to us, I know your system was AI texting. I really like that. Reach out and we'd like to set up an appointment. You don't want to solely rely on it, but it can be very helpful. Now, is anyone using a system like this that is actually calling or texting their leads for them with AI, not like stock responses? Okay. No? All right. Well, if you are, and you want to share in the chat or jump on anytime, feel free. But I think this is showing how our industry is changing. This is what they mean by agents using AI to just move faster, right? We have more bandwidth because we can move faster. We're not relying on it, okay? Okay. There are AI automated marketing platforms you can use within your business. BrokerBlocks is one of them that we use. These systems are to help you send marketing pieces via text and email to your clients that aren't generic. They actually gather information about the lead and make the marketing touch piece more directly related to that client. Okay, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but there's AI automated lead follow-ups, higher lead conversion rates with better follow-up. Because as agents, we're marketers and we're trying to figure out what platform our lead wants to speak to us on. If it's on the phone, if it's via text message, if it's an email, if it's a DM, if it's knocking on their door, if it's them seeing us multiple places. We're trying to figure out where our lead wants to speak to us. And the more options you have to do that you're using, the higher your likelihood of converting that lead is. Okay. Let's talk about some AI systems that we use for CRMs. We currently use Follow Up Boss as our CRM. There are other CRMs out there. I've just found that Follow Up Boss is the best one for our needs. Follow Up Boss is really unique in that it actually will listen to your phone calls. It'll record the information automatically, and it'll put it in. And I'll give you an example of this, a live example. Not that that I'm sure there's other CRMs that do this. This is just how ours work, and I'd like to show you. Okay, so for instance, any text messages or phone calls that come in, my CRM will summarize that information, right? Also, it has AI built in, so I can say something like, now obviously I know this person really well, but if it was a new lead, I tried to reach out a few times, I haven't spoken to them. I could say something like, I haven't spoken to this lead in a while, or this person in a while. What is something I can say that would generate a response or conversation? This person is in my sphere, so please use the information provided. Again, this is an example of prompting, right? So I'm prompting the system to give me a response, right? Um and it's going to read my entire follow-up boss for this person, and it's going to give me something I can talk to them about. I can use that via email, or I can use it via text as well. This is one of the ways a lot of CRMs are building in AI to help agents move faster, right? And I know Jen, she's a great person. I love her. We see her all the time. So I wouldn't have to use this for her. But if it was someone that, is a newer client or someone is a newer lead, right? The other thing is it's using insight. That person's searching on your website. If they're searching on Zillow, if you have Zillow Pro, you can see what's going on. You can invite them, and you can understand. And the system will tell you, it'll prompt you when this person is showing high activity levels. So if you have someone in your CRM, your client relationship manager, and that person all of a sudden after a few years starts searching, hopefully you've spoken to them over those few years, but all of a sudden they start searching for a home on Zillow or on your website, your CRM should be prompting you and saying, hey, like this person all of a sudden searching again, you might want to reach out, right? This is how you operate at scale. Because how do you manage as many leads as a lot of us have as effectively as that without a CRM to tell you, hey, reach out now, right? Yes, you're supposed to be calling your people in your database. You have follow-up plans. But what happens after they get into the nurture stage? A lot of us just kind of stop following up, right? Well, if you have a system that said, hey, it's time to follow up. This person's actually plugging around on your website on Zillow. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? Right? That helps you scale. Now, again, it's on you to follow up, right? Yeah, you can rely on the AI like systems like BuyLocal a little bit, but it's on you to follow up. You're the one that needs to make that connection by using all of these AI platforms to try to reach out to them. Okay? Go back to. So, who here, can honestly say you're using your CRM daily? Right? I can't stress enough, like, if you're not in prospect mode or follow-up mode on a regular basis, if you're not in prospect mode or follow-up mode on a regular basis and you're sitting on your arms because you don't have any appointments, it's your fault, right? And you can't blame AI for you not following up, right? There's also systems like Fellow. Has anyone here heard of Fellow? No, okay. Again, I don't have any vested interest in these companies. I just think they're really cool companies and we should be using them. We are using them. But if you have people in your database that are already in your database, and a system like Fellow will go in, it'll scrub the entire database, and it'll score those people based on equity, how long they lived in the property, public records, divorce filings, like all of the data it can get online, and it'll tell you it'll give you a list of the people that have the highest likelihood of selling. So now you have a system like Fellow that can reach in, use the data, using AI to formulate or to get all of this data together and then score them, right? So that now you know who the hand raisers in your database are. So again, using all of these tools, you can become a much more efficient and effective agent, right? Now, I want to go over like a quick workflow of something that we use. Like a lead comes in our CRM, the AI scores it, the likelihood of selling. We can use chat or our internal or our internal AI and our CRM to follow up with that lead. We can also use HeyGen to create videos. Has anyone here ever used HeyGen before? Right, HeyGen is something you can record yourself speaking, and they come up with an AI avatar for you. And I've heard of an agent that's super successful in Florida that was using this. Basically, the workflow was he would have a virtual assistant, which would take them maybe 20 minutes a day, go into chat, prompt it for the best stories locally in his market, then ask chat to come up with 30 to 45 second scripts. Again, scripts that are customized to the way he speaks. Then put those scripts in HeyGen and use that to generate the avatar saying the script. Then they would drop it in Canva and use and generate a background, and then they'd post it on his social media. So he had posts going out daily, sometimes multiple times a day, that he had no involvement in. And we tried this. We actually did it for a while. It was actually a really, really cool tool. I didn't find any use for it in our perfect client. Like I wasn't looking to market to that. I was actually just trying to see how it worked, and it's an actually super cool system. So if you're an agent that isn't comfortable with being on video and you want to use AI, this is a great workflow to do that. Right? Has anyone done anything like this before?
No.
Yeah, and look, again, you don't have to overcomplicate it. You can just ask chat for the scripts yourself and record the video. But if you're super busy or you just don't like being on video, which get over it. I mean, my face is on video, right? So I think anyone's face can be fine on video. So if you're worried about any of that, don't worry. Just get on video. All right. But because it is important for your searches, it is important. Social media, this isn't a social media class, but I know social media isn't the only reason people get business, but it gives you credibility. And you'll find over time people will be reaching out to you that you haven't spoken to in a long time, that have just been seeing your posts on social media and you didn't know. Right? If you have that seller or that buyer meeting it the first time and they Google you and you're a ghost online, you don't have a lot of credibility. But having social media helps with things like that. I don't expect everyone to go, viral, but it does help with things like that. All right. So there are some systems you can use that we use for photo, video, and audio marketing. HeyGen is one, right? I just spoke about that. That's a system you could go in and create an AI avatar. You literally talk into a camera for about 30 minutes, and it learns how you speak, it understands your cadences, it understands kind of how you move when you speak, and then it recreates that. And it's actually very, very impressive. CapCut is another really cool social media AI that a lot of people are using. I'm sure if you look at all these TikTok videos, in the bottom left corner, you'll see the CapCut emblem. That's because a lot of people are using CapCut. It makes editing video super easy. Even I can use it, right? Splice is another AI video editing software. Opus Clip is great. When we get done with these trainings, we upload the entire recording to Opus Clip, and Opus Clip will break it up into 10 social media friendly type recordings with captions that I can then use to promote the video. It does it automatically for me, and it gives me the content to post as well with that post. So if you're thinking you need to do all of this editing, Opus Clip is huge, right? Midjourney and 11 Labs. 11 Labs is more for the talk part of it. We actually combine HeyGen and 11 Labs to make my voice sound more realistic. Because when you combine them, you get a better result than just trying to use the one system. So these are all some tools you can use for AI creation. Midjourney is really good for photo and creation. The tool in Gemini is really good for photo creation. I found that ChatGPT's photo creation doesn't work as well. And yet, they're not all cut from the same cloth. Some are better than others. So play around with all the different options before you land on which one you're using for certain types of media. The thing here is like, when you're creating media, attention is the game, right? And if you're not creating content, you're invisible. And when those people that search you try to find out who this agent is that I'm meeting with, that I just had a phone conversation with, you don't have any content out there. Are you credible? Do you have credibility? Unless they were referred to you by your sphere, which is what the lead we all want. But the reality is that's not every lead you get, especially early in your business, because you don't have a sphere yet. You have to create content to gain credibility. So when people look you up, which is super easy to do now, right? They find that. Some of you are posting, once every 3 months and, once every couple of weeks. It's not enough, right? It's not enough. And use AI to automate and make that better. Now, here are some bonus tools that we recommend. Loom Video is really cool. You can actually record yourself making a video, an instructional video, or you get a lead comes in and you want to send them a video, a personalized video, really quickly that they'll see the face, put a face to the name, and know who's calling them. That's really, really cool. It's a really cool system. Zapier is a system that will connect a lot of systems that aren't connected for you. And then Canva. We use Canva for a ton because just like creating you used to have to use Photoshop and all these different things to come up with these intricate PDFs and posts. Canva really does make it like magic. Like it really makes this much simpler than you would think you would even believe. All right, so let's talk about building an AI workflow, right? You can go into ChatGPT and you can ask Chat to say, hey, Chat, give me the 5 most prevalent real estate related stories happening currently in our industry. And when they come up, say, okay, Chat, can you break those down into 30 to 45 second scripts that I can use to record a video with? Great. When you do that, you can go to Midjourney and put that prompt in and create the images you need for the background of that. Then you can go to HeyGen and create the video, right? Because you already have the video, so you're just throwing the caption in and letting it create it for you. Then use CapCut edits to create the edits needed, right, for that post. Make your post, and then have systems like Maverick and Ylopo follow up with the leads that come in off those posts and run an ad on it. You can put it on your social media. This is all an AI workflow, and there's way more intricate ones that you can use. I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar with a company called Go High Level, but Go High Level is kind of a all-in-one stop shop for, if it's CRM. I don't think it's the best CRM, but it's a really good marketing tool, and they have lead funnels built out. So you can create a website, someone clicks on the website, it'll take them text to this, take them email to this. It's a super, super useful website. You can also use it to automate all your social media posts. I think it's a great system. Again, I don't think it's the best CRM, but I think it's a great system if you're ever looking for a system to help you. And listen, if you're not a social media person, an AI person, or computer person, that's okay. Find people to do it for you. Okay? I wanted to create a lead funnel. I've never used Go High Level before. I could have spent 3 weeks learning the system and building it. Instead, I went on Fiverr. I found someone that has already created these for me to just recreate it, which took them a couple of days at the most. And I paid them very little, and it took way less time than it would have taken me. Again, use what's available to you to move quickly, right? That by the time you spend that 3 weeks learning that system, you probably would have lost as much money as you would have gained from actually just getting the person to do it for you quickly. Okay. Like I said, I don't want you to just get this information and post it. Okay. AI is powerful, but you still need a brain. All right. So don't let AI get you sued. All right. Check for compliance, check for fair housing, review everything before you post it. Right. You don't want to post anything that's RESPA related or anything like that. Right. You still want this to sound like a human. So make sure you're adding that human element and make sure you're checking what AI is actually doing. Don't just post and hope. So here are some common things we've seen a lot of agents running into, and I want to make sure that you don't run into this as well. Avoid a robotic tone. And honestly, like you would think things like "Hey Jen," when it comes to your voice, makes you sound robotic. It didn't. I had family members who didn't even know it wasn't me. Like I'd be at a family dinner, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's all AI," and they're like, "What?" Yeah, they didn't even know it was me, which I don't know if is an issue, but either way, and they were able to so listen to it and make sure there's not a robotic tone to it. Obviously, try to protect yourself from any sort of legal issues. And then you want to personalize it. And this is the biggest mistake most agents are making when it comes to AI right now. They're not personalizing it. They're just copy and paste, right? This is what chat said to post. This is what I'm going to post. They're not training their AI to sound and operate like them, right? Don't get lazy, right? That you feed AI a topic, but make sure you edit without adding your voice, without adding your thoughts, without giving it the prompt it needs to sound more like you. That's pretty much the worst thing you can do. And you're going to sound like everyone else, and your content's going to come off robotic, and it's not going to get the following you want from it. And the whole point of this is to get in front of your clients. So if you're doing it and you're getting lazy with it, it's going to cost you, right? And you know, I would say this, like, don't stop writing yourself because you'll lose that. You'll get worse if you stop writing yourself. So make sure you're actually dictating or talk texting into AI when it comes to these things, because you have to kind of talk out your thoughts so that the system understands you, but also puts it in a format that doesn't sound robotic. It sounds like you, right? And you don't want to sound identical to everyone. Okay. So any questions about any of this so far? Okay. Now let's talk about the future of AI in real estate, right? A lot of this is going to come back to predictive analytics. You're going to be able to tell which ones of your leads are ambulance going by. So pause for a second. A lot of this is going to tell you who are the people in your database that are raising their hand and saying, I need to buy or sell right now, without doing it. You want to get ahead, right? I remember it was the 80s or 90s, but they had to make changes to stock trading because someone got a computer that can predict what the trades were going to be or what movements were going to happen in the market before it would happen. And they ended up having to change the whole system because of it. Things are going to change because agents are going to get ahead of the game. At the end of the day, you can't take the important work away, which is actually making the phone calls. But if you have systems that are telling you, systems like Fellow, systems like Ylopa, systems like Maverick, that are telling you who those people are that need to be reached out to and when to reach out to them and how to reach out to them to be the most effective, you're going to be the most successful agent, right? The reach out is the important part. But if you have systems telling you how to do it, that's really, really key. Pricing models. And I'm sure as agents, we all, hate when we sit with a client and they're like, oh, well, Zillow said my estimate is $1.7 million and the house is really $1.4 million. There's no comps that shows that you sell for 1.7. We don't like that, but we have noticed they're getting better, right? And that's because these estimates, these online estimates, are getting more data to work with. Well, as that formulates, realtors are going to build their own. They're going to build even better versions of that to help people with pricing out properties. Now, you should never solely rely on this. Okay. I've done a ton of comparables on ChatGPT and then myself and found massive differences. So never rely on it, but just like you do with some other systems in site, use it to back up the way you were thinking or what you were thinking, right? But you still need to be the agent, you need to be the appraiser, you need to understand what property value is and what brings value don't rely on AI, but it's helpful, right? Virtual open houses are going to become a big thing. I saw articles of an agent reached out to me. He was like super scared, like, oh, is AI going to take over the agent? I saw a seller sell a house and say how easy it was in Florida, and he had 6 offers. And I looked into it, like the guy severely underpriced the house, right? So that's why he actually got back up to market value. And NAR's facts still stay the same. For sale by owners, sell for 9% less than homes that are listed with realtors, right? So a lot of sellers are avoiding paying a commission to lose 9%. And at the end of the day, most of them end up listing with an agent anyway. There are those people that might have been a realtor in the past or may have sold multiple homes themselves and understand how to go through the process a little better than others. But listen, I've installed a few doors in my house. I'm not going to build a house anytime soon, right? Like I'll hire a professional to do that. I should not be paid to build anything ever. So like these are things that people, they're always going to be a small portion of the market that can do it themselves, and good for them, right? What we're here for is to help everyone else that doesn't have the time, the experience, and the knowledge avoid all of the pitfalls and mistakes that come along and help them get the most money. And we're supposed to use AI to help them do that, right? If you're not doing what's in your client's best interest, right? If you're not trying to get them the most search results by using AI, if you're not trying to get them the best write-up by using AI, if you're not trying to get their leads followed up with quickly by using AI, you're not doing what's in your client's best interest. I'm not saying you can't operate a business without it, but I'm saying find ways to start incorporating it, even if it's slowly, into your business. We're seeing the AI agent thing, which there's actually a super annoying one right now that one of our agents on our team can't get a hold of. It's not great. Do I think it'll get better? Absolutely. But listen, like we all know, 70% of the industry didn't sell a home last year. That's like 900,000 agents. So there's already a lot of agents that don't need to be in the industry anyway. And those are the people panicking. People that are actually doing business and understand how to run and operate a business know it cannot just be done by AI, right? Can it make us better? Absolutely. Can it make us faster? Absolutely. Will it eliminate a lot of the tire kickers? Absolutely. But we understand how difficult deals can be, and you have to know how to navigate that to avoid all of the potential pitfalls that come with the deal, right? So I kind of did this already, but I went through the prompting. But look, I can, if I hadn't prepared a slideshow for this 15 minutes before, I could have went in and said to ChatGPT, hey, I have a presentation coming up that I need a slideshow for. Maybe make it like 20 slides or so. I wanted to be speaking about different things in AI. Here are some of the things we use in AI. I want these to give me talking points. Make every slide be a 10 to 15 minute talking point. Touch on Maverick, touch on ChatGPT, touch on. I could have said that and just let it create it for me, right? And it'll create the format, it'll put it, and then you can drop it in Canva and get a better picture, right? This is how quickly we can work. In the past, we would have had to spend days preparing a slideshow or hours preparing a slideshow that looks nice and it just makes us move quicker. Okay. Another thing that I found a lot of benefit with is if you're going to a listing presentation and it's an area you don't necessarily know as well as your area or other areas you're working heavily. And I'll give an example. I had a listing in it's like lower Bucks County, near Pipersville. And I don't work in that market a lot, but it was just the client's mom, really nice lady. I wanted to help her. And I did some extra research. I went into chat. I said, I'm going to a listing at this property. Can you give me all the information I should know about this area, about this land, so I know a bit more about the home before I just show up there with my comps? And chat told me to check the public records, check township records to see who applied for permits and what shopping centers were coming, what new development was coming, if there are any new homes being built, who originally owned the land, and how it's been distributed over the years. It gave me so much information, and I was happily sharing this with my seller. I told her, hey, I did some extra research about this. Did you know this about this land? And she was like, no, I didn't even know that, right? So you can use chat to enhance what our skill is, right? You can use chat to appeal to people on a personal level that you didn't know that existed before because you found that information. The one thing is, I don't want you guys to lose inspiration. AI won't replace agent, but agents using AI will replace agents not using AI. This is just part of the game. I need you guys to get involved, get on the train because the ship is leaving the station. And if you find yourself 5 years from now, or even 2 years from now, looking back and wondering why there's only a glut of agents doing business and everyone seems to be not doing a lot of business, it's because the people that adapted all of these systems and used them to their benefit accelerated at such a pace that the rest couldn't keep up. And all of that being said, they still made their calls, right? So, the message I want you all to take away from here is work less, serve more, win bigger. My and our team's motto is the relentless pursuit of the perfect client experience. If I can find a way to do that and scale it at a reasonable number, why wouldn't I use AI to do that, right? So from all this, what are some takeaways? What are some questions you have? If you want to drop it in the chat or speak, I'm happy to address any we can over the next few minutes or so. Anyone? No? No questions? Okay. All right. Well, listen, this was awesome. Hopefully you took something away from this. Hopefully this helps you build. And if you ever if you ever want any information, absolutely, Michelle. If you ever want any information or help with any of this stuff, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is on here. These are just some of the things we're using in AI. There's a lot more you can use to enhance and grow your business faster. And I'd love to show you that. It's again, what's it? A rising tide raises all ships. As an industry, as we get better, it gets better for all of us. So use this, learn, get better, accelerate your businesses. And if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.